Quest Chapter 179 is officially out, and this chapter was honestly really good. It played to my expectations in a way that I honestly really enjoyed, and it set things up for a fight that I was not expecting, but I think we all would have loved to see regardless, and I am incredibly hyped for what's going to happen next. As I've been enjoying almost every chapter for the last couple of months about 100 Years Quest, and things have just been really fun to read, and I'm excited to keep talking about this stuff with you guys. Before we jump into this chapter, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit notification bells for updates on YouTube videos. It really helps and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Also, if you want to see me talk about a whole bunch of other manga, go and check out my Shonen Pulse podcast on the Panel Focus YouTube channel, where me, Nox, and Yanogami talk about 9 different manga from 3 separate magazines. Links will be in the title card and in the description down below. Now, with all that out of the way, let's jump right into this chapter. Chapter 179 of 100 Years Quest, titled The True Worth of Gold. And this cover image is of Juvia. And let's just say, no notes. I like what I see. That's all I'm going to say, and Gray is a lucky man. But jumping right into the chapter, we see Viernus staring down Gray. Big stare-off right now as Gray begins to launch an ice-make-freezing lance attack at Viernus. But all Viernus does is wave his hand and instantly shatters all of the ice lances that Gray has made. Gray leaps forward and then tries to make his ice-make death scythe. As he then hits Viernus' neck, it instantly changes, does nothing to him, and turns into gold dust. Viernus spins around and backhands Gray as he falls straight into the ground. Gray then gets back up as he sees that his chest got turned into gold, or at least parts of his clothes got turned into gold, as this is weighing his body down with the immense weight of it. And it is then that Viernus begins to break his silence as we finally hear his voice, saying, "I changed your body into gold." So I guess he did change part of Gray's body into gold, with Gray trying to act all cocky and smug, saying, "Huh, you can talk, huh?" But Viernus, as he is shining forth from the golden glow and rays of light that he's emitting, says, "My power transforms everything into gold." As Gray says, "Sounds like a way to get rich," with Viernus telling him it is foolish for a human to challenge a dragon god. Very, very true. This won't work out well. Then Viernus raises both his hands as he then unleashes a golden attack as the buildings around and the ground start to turn into sparkling gold. As in a 2-page spread, we see he turned the entire area into a field of gold, with Gray completely shocked over the sheer amount of gold that Viernus had done to the area being turned in. And this is actually much bigger than what we saw Viernus do in his dragon form when he fought like Sabretooth and Team Natsu, due to the fact that he was just turning random stuff to gold around from where he stepped. He didn't do it at such a big scale that he's doing right now. And I think it's probably because Viernus is feeling a lot more powerful and a lot more cocky, maybe. Viernus then waves his finger, says, "Gold arrow," and all the birds flying in the air are instantly turned to gold as Viernus motions his finger down and launches them straight at Gray as a large projectile attack, trying to take him out with a singular blow, with Gray avoiding all of them, if not just barely. But then Gray notices something. The gold around him, the area, turned into magma. As he says, "So, alchemy can do all this?" And he then creates an ice geyser, launching himself into the air. But in that instance, Viernus quickly launches an attack at Gray. Gray makes an ice-make shield to block, but Viernus shatters it in an instant. As Gray is falling down to the ground, he then launches another gold arrow attack, slamming square into Gray, hitting him as he then falls onto the ground. Gray comes out of the dust, getting back on his feet, wondering how he can beat him. Which is honestly a very good question, because A, not a Dragon Slayer, and B, he is not at the level of strength where he could potentially, well, hold his own one-on-one against the Dragon God. It really does feel like Mashima is setting Gray up for failure here to potentially get a better matchup in the future, but this just feels like overkill and doing Gray dirty here, because look, nobody believed that Gray would actually be able to do anything to a dragon god. At best, destroy a lacrimat to keep him from going crazy. But based on how Viernus is acting right now, he seems to be in his right mind. Like, the berserker nature of him just kind of faded away and he regained his senses on his own. So that's something. Even if he destroys a lacrimat, Viernus is probably still going to try and kill him. I don't know if that'll make him die again, but that's still something we gotta wait and see, and we don't even know what happened to the Lacrima. But I also like that Viernus is using his alchemy in this fight, showcasing that despite Viernus dying and coming back to life, he still has the knowledge and ability to use alchemy to change his gold after hitting the ground into magma, and that is really great. I really want to see more utilization of alchemy, at least for Viernus, because he didn't really use that in his initial debut fights, and then he got beat by Natsu. So I do feel like this is Mashima really making amends for how dirty he did Viernus in that arc. So I'm really happy with this, and I can't wait to see more of what Viernus can do. Back to the chapter, something happens appearing right between Gray and Viernus, as we then get to see a portal open up in the air, looking like a portal spell that we've seen before. As to the shock of both of them, a figure appears. As the moon dragon god Selene makes her return, looking all